All right, completely changing subjects. The Fed doesn't seem that interested in lowering rates. People are getting nervous that Jackson Hole is going to be a bust. And then maybe a month from now, or so, yeah, a little bit less than a month from now, we will not get even a 25 reduction. And part of that conversation now is also involving the idea that we might be getting into a slowdown in the economy that would be a little too slow, and that the Fed is not thinking ahead enough about job losses that might be coming as a result of this slowdown. And that you could add to that, they're not thinking about the job losses that are coming as a result of productivity coming out of AI. And somebody said today, I think it was 𝐒𝐦𝐚𝐲, he was talking about that these slowdowns in the job picture don't necessarily happen like a slow curve. It's like somebody lays off 50,000 people, and then it gives everybody else permission to do it. We've seen that a couple of times in the last couple of years.
Right.
In fact, Elon was one of the ones that triggered some of those layoffs when he bought X, or Twitter at the time. So this is all to set up this. It seems to me that once again, the Fed is maybe missing the ethical decision-making, or even the practical decision-making process of what a 50 or 100 basis point cut might do that might be worth the risk. Right now, we know that durables is the only part of the equation, well, durables and housing, that hasn't come back. The durables help manufacturing. The durables help trucking. The durables help retail through a place like Home Depot, who had their report yesterday and said, "Hey, our regular business is fine. It's the big expensive stuff that nobody's buying right now." And the 50 or 100 basis point cut might help the bond to rally and have those rates come down as well. If we get under 6%, that's going to really help housing a ton. So those two things that would be really, really, really good for the overall economy seem to be worth the risk of doing the cut. And okay, maybe we were wrong and we can raise it back later. What do you think?
As I've said before, and I'll say again, I think the argument can be made that Jerome Powell and this Federal Reserve is among the worst in U.S. history, going back 100 years or so, right? That their argument to be 12 months late dealing with transitory inflation and then allowing that to get to
9%.
9%, 10%. Yeah, I think that number should have been like 10, 15%, 15% because of, measuring it the way we did before, like including the interest rate, that kind of thing. So they, said that they were data dependent, but then they ignored the data, made up some reason not to do something, and then caused this problem, which we're now trying to completely put the genie back in the bottle. And so they're not anticipating things. They're not, avoiding breaking things. So it's kind of like when we have a crisis and banks blow up, again, like they did with, Silicon Valley Bank or whatever, that, or with jobs breaking, that only when things break, then I will clean up the spilt milk and try and do something about it. So them finding reasons to not do something, to not get on the same page as problems, not even like anticipate, but like the problems with the job numbers not being good, just happen. There is data now saying that the jobs are a problem, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying, I want to not act. I want to make up a reason not to act and to leave things where they are and to always make, my mistakes in one direction. So
So do you think
they could end up in that.
yeah. Do you think at this point it has anything to do with him being a short timer and he's figuring out how can I do my last 6 months without making some mistake? Or do you think he's always been kind of a prone to avoid mistakes as opposed to be
Well, he's wants to make a mistake a particular way. Before it was I'm going to let it run and I'm making mistakes in that way. Now I'm, you know, because their team created more of an inflation problem than there need to be, and now they're acting late. Now they want to get, everything back down to that below 2% level or whatever it is, even though we're very close on it. And I think we're being overly restrictive that even if that was correct, like 1.5% over a 2.5% thing, it would still mean you have 100 basis points to cut, or at least 5 basis points. You can make those cuts happen. Um, and so I view him as incompetent. I view the team as incompetent. Them getting to like 3 out of 7 that are conservative, like the numbers are there to justify the cut. And the fact that they could talk themselves out of it for the 4 of them to leave it running for another 2 months, I think they should start cutting. But
yeah. But unfortunately, we're not on that board. Darn.
yeah.
If only we were on the board.